Chapter 6, Lesson 9 is on page 294. It's the last lesson in Chapter 6. Hooray! And these turned out to be word problems. Let's start off with number 1. Let's not freak out. Let's just read the problem first. If you subtract a number from 4 times its square, the result is 3. Okay, well, let's make the number x. And 4 times the number would be 4x. And 4 times its square would be 4 times x squared. So let's see if we can put all this together. We end up with 4x squared minus x, and that turned out to be equal to 3. Let's read the problem again. 4 times its square, 4x squared. Subtract the number minus x, and the result is 3. So we have 4x squared minus x is equal to 3. We have 4x squared minus x minus 3 is equal to 0. Remember, these are equations. So we have a is 4, b is minus 1, and c is a negative 3. So we excuse me, we've got an AC, we have a b, and a times c is a negative 12, and b is a negative 1. So let's think of a couple numbers whose product is negative 12, yet their sum is negative 1. I bet it comes to you just as it did to me, minus 4 and a plus 3. So we have to place a minus 4x and a plus 3x somewhere in our box. We're going to go back to our quadratic polynomial. We're going to stick in the 4x squared in the upper left. We're going to stick in the minus 3 in the lower right. And we're going to place the minus 4x, and we're going to place the 3x. Now you notice how I placed the minus 4x adjacent to the 4x squared and the 3x adjacent to the minus 3. So by now we've got a pretty good handle on this. We're going to say 4x for one side. We're going to say x for the other side. And if this side is 4x, then we're going to end up with a minus 1 distance on the top. If this distance on the lower left box is x, then we're going to have to end up with a plus 3. And if this is a plus 3 and this is a minus 1, then our check does indeed for the lower right turn out to be an area of minus 3. So we end up with our two factors, x minus 1 and 4x plus 3. And we're going to use that zero product property. So we have our two factors, 4x plus 3. And x minus 1, and those have to be equal to 0. We had our equation way over here. These are the factors. So these two are intertwined now. So let's use our zero product property. So either 4x plus 3 is equal to 0, which means 4x is equal to a negative 3, or x is equal to a negative 3 over 4, or we have x minus 1 is equal to 0, or x is equal to 1. So we have two numbers that we could be using. X is equal to 1, or x is equal to negative 3/4. And those both work for problem number 1. Let's try this out on another word problem, number 19. And number 19 says the sum of the squares of two consecutive odd positive integers is 74. Oh gosh. Let's try this. Consecutive odd integers. Well, the first one is x. The next one that comes after x that's odd would be x plus 2. Just think about that for a second. The first integer is x. The next odd one, you have to add 2 to it, which means that x plus 2. And the problem says the sum of the squares. Okay, so let's square those. We got x squared plus x plus 2 squared. And that, I think it said the sum was going to be equal to 74. Okay, well then let's do some multiplication. X squared plus, and let's FOIL this, x plus 2. That comes out to x squared plus 4x plus 4 has to be equal to 74. Combining like terms on the left side, we have 2x squared plus 4x plus 4 is equal to 74. If we subtract 74 from both sides, we end up with 2x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus 74 is equal to 0. we end up with 2x squared plus 4x minus 70 is equal to 0. And let's see if we can figure this out. Let's make this ax squared plus bx plus c. A is equal to 2, b is equal to 4, and c is equal to what did I do wrong? Ah, I forgot. Let's back up one. Remember our rule. Darn it. Mr. E forgot. Well, it happens, huh? So let's go back to our rule and let's recap. Remember, we have to factor things out before we can use the box. Let's take out a 2. X squared plus 2x minus 35 is equal to 0. Remember, we have to do that factoring. So let's go back up here and say then a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, and c is equal to negative 35. So back up to our cross, we have AC, we have B, and we have a negative 35, and we have a 2. So thinking about two numbers whose product is negative 35, yet their sum is a positive 2, we end up with a plus 7 and a minus 5. So we have to place a 7x and a minus 5x. So we've got our equation, x squared minus 35, and we're going to place the 7x and the minus 5x. So we've got an area of x. If this is x, then this is a plus 7. If this is an x, then this must be a minus 5. And if this is a minus 5, this is a plus 7. And our check turns out to be negative 35. So our factors are x minus 5 times x plus 7, and don't forget the 2 we had over here that we factored out, and those are equal to 0. So we know 2 is not equal to 0, so we can scratch the 2. So that gives us x minus 5 is equal to 0, or x is equal to 5, or x plus 7 is equal to 0, which gives us x is equal to negative 7. So we have two answers we have to choose from. And it says the sum of two squares of two consecutive odd positive integers. So we have to discount x is equal to negative 7 because that's not a positive integer. And the only solution that's going to work for us is x is equal to 5, our final solution. That's it for today. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.